What's good, everybody? My name is Joshua McLean, and welcome to the Sew Rogan Experience. Heyo! We are back, episode number 4. This is somebody that I know very, very well, that I get to spend a lot of time with. I don't know if she's happy about that or not, but I am. And I'm excited for you guys to get to talk to her. So this person has been in the industry for a long time. You know what? I'm going to let her tell you because I'll probably butcher it. So Toni Carringer, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be
Awesome.
here.
I was going to say she's been in the industry this many. I was like, actually, I don't know how long. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Sure.
Why don't you go ahead and
Thanks.
jump to it?
I'm excited. I have been in the industry since 2007. I've worked in several quilt shops over 3 states, 4 states now, I guess. And I've also worked in a yarn shop. So I've worked in all sorts of strange fiber related industries. I also owned 2 different shops, and I have been quilting and sewing like over 35 years. So I am self-taught, but I've
Are you
learned.
really?
Yes.
I not to interrupt you. I didn't realize you were self-taught. I mean, you know a lot. So I figured somewhere down the line somebody had to give you some lessons, and I know I'm sure you've taken classes. But
I've unlearned a lot.
yeah, fair enough.
Learned
Yeah,
a lot.
makes sense. Cool. Well, yeah. So the reason Toni and I work together, we see each other all the time. And so, there's a lot that I know about you. Obviously, there's clearly a lot that I don't. But I think that the people, even that you see on a daily basis, don't realize how long you've been in the industry and honestly, kind of the wealth of knowledge that you have. And so, I think you're perfect to. And you kind of already know what I'm going to ask. So, but you're perfect for this discussion. So, you've been in the industry for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously you like it because you're still here.
I do. I love it.
Right. And I love that quilt behind you, by the way. I tell you, every time you bring in a new quilt, I was like, where do you put your quilts? Like, do you have a separate barn or a garage or a storage unit for your quilt stash?
I've slowly decided to move them out of the house. The only ones I keep are my Tula ones.
Fair enough. Yeah, we are Team Tula.
I
So
am Team Tula, yes.
just be aware, we are Team Tula. Okay, well, let's just jump right in if you're cool with it.
Sure.
These are what I'm calling the hard-hitting questions. I
Okay.
joked about it with Teresa, but as simple as some of these questions may sound, they're so important to what we're trying to do every single day. So, first question: how do we create a new generation of sewer? Kind of slash. How do we get non-sewers or more people excited about the sewing industry? What do you think?
I think this is a great question because I step back and had to look, how did I learn? Like I just told you, I'm self-taught. So, but why did I start teaching myself? And when did I finally get into that point of having more guided instruction? So, I self-taught. I was a mom at home. I had 2 kids, third one on the way. I learned how to make my clothes first, and then I learned how to quilt. And then I stepped back because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was overseas, so I'm military too. So I've got lots of things about people don't know about me. so
Right.
I learned when we were stationed in Japan at the time, and I learned how to just use a simple Singer sewing machine that I bought at the local PX, and taught myself. There was no internet. My friends locally didn't know how to sew, so I really self-taught. And so I tried to put myself in that position where I was, and how would it have been different if I had the right information to grow faster so the other thing is, I was young. I was in my early 30s, or late 20s, early 30s. And really, when my mindset was just, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I don't need nobody's help. That's kind of my mindset anyway. But I think that's a key thing to look at younger people's mindsets. Most of them they just want to jump right in. They don't feel the need for interaction. They have the YouTube, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Yes. I think you and I talk about this all the time, is education is so important. And that's why they go to the YouTube. So, but how do we get them past that so they are actually, I think you learn better one-on-one, even if you like YouTube and you can learn from YouTube. I think there's still a huge value being one-on-one in a classroom setting with an instructor. But again, your question is, how do we reach those people? And it's got to be more
Well,
affordable in the long run, I think.
more affordable. So you said,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point. And not to cut you off, like I love YouTube and I tell people all the time, go to YouTube, go
me too.
to Facebook groups. Like there is a group for every machine on the planet. There's a YouTube tutorial probably of everything that you're asking us, but in person with somebody you like and trust, and you can see it right in front of you or they can watch you do it and it's a totally different ball game. Like
Right,
so in person is so much better. I agree with you. Now, YouTube is better than nothing. Videos are fantastic. Why not do both?
right.
So, I don't know. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think, yeah, the question is, okay, so they're already on YouTube. So how do we
Mhm.
let them know that sewing's cool? I mean, I think that's where I'm struggling. Not struggling, but you know what I mean? That's the challenge.
That's a good question. How do you make sewing cool? It has to
It
be
is
the
cool.
it is cool, but like, how do we attract that? It's all about what projects are we showing? I mean, I also think from my age, I'm at the beginning of the normal age for, I don't want to say I'm there yet. I'm at the beginning of the normal age of most quilters per se. Not
Yeah.
sewers though. Most sewers are a lot younger than me, actually. People are making their own clothes. But
Yeah.
how do we entertain different projects with them that's exciting? I mean, fabric
Yeah.
is comes and goes, but it's the project, I think, that draws people into being excited about sewing stuff.
Yeah, well, and honestly, showcasing your work, for example, because you forgive me for this terminology, but you don't use old lady fabric.
I do not.
you,
I
you
do
know what I
not.
mean? Like well, Tula, for example, but there's so many designers that you love, Allison Glass, whatever, that is bright, funky, modern, contemporary, whatever you want to call it. It's very attractive to a younger demographic, or it could be if they knew it was there.
Right.
Like you see kids when they come in the shop and they go, "Whoa!" Like that's not
They're
what I
overwhelmed.
expected.
Right.
Yeah, or overwhelmed, but also kind of like, "Whoa!" Like this is actually a cool quilt shop. I mean, you know what I mean? Like so, and there's tons of cool quilt shops. I mean, for sure. So I think you're getting them in the store and then letting them see for themselves. These new fabric designers are awesome. It's not what it used to be.
And the
And then you're
fabric
making
designer's the same
samples.
age. Right.
Yeah, you're making these samples that we need to somehow let them see. And other than literally going and dragging them in or bribery, free classes, whatever it takes to get them in the store, I don't know how else to do it. And nobody has that answer yet. And I think we're on the right track. But you're right, getting them in the. And it doesn't have to be quilting that we get them excited about.
No, 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 because you
It's
want
sewing in
sewers.
general.
Right.
Yeah,
Normally one leads to the other. Once you learn garment sewing, you've done it enough times, and then might be interested in quilting, or quilting go back and forth. That's how many quilts do you really need, that kind of thing. So
well,
I
that's a
think it
good
goes
point.
both ways. Mhm.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so so kind of along the same questionnaire, like what types of advice or what type of advice or tips might maybe you can't live without that you would give to new sewers or just sewers in general?
Use what you got. When I take classes, and I hate giving out a supply list. I know that's one of those things that as teachers and students want, but they always want to go buy the new things. And I'm all about use what you have. So if you have old, upcycling is really big right now too for the younger, kids. I mean, even the older people use it. But
Yeah,
t-shirt quilts, that's upcycling. But
sure.
use what you've got. It doesn't have to be an expensive adventure. And I think that's the other key that, most young people aren't going to get into it because it's so expensive.
It is an expensive hobby, but what hobby isn't, to be
Right.
fair?
True. You're right. But you got to start someplace. And if you're so afraid to buy and invest in, you don't have to be afraid. You can start so simple and then grow into it. And I think that's the key thing, getting them in the mid 20, younger people to
Yeah,
grow into it. And then then they're like 40 and 50 and they're doing the teaching now. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean, machines are expensive but they don't have to be. I mean, we talked about this with Teresa, but I also talked about it with you. That's what pre-loved machines are for. And
exactly.
that's what, you know giving a child, I'm going a little bit off on a tangent here, giving a child their first sewing machine that is this really cute purple toy
Hello Kitty.
doesn't do them any justice, because the poor kid goes, well, sewing sucks. And it's like, no, the machine, you never had a fighting chance.
Right,
That
right.
that machine is a toy. It's not an actual sewing machine. So you're frustrated, rightfully so. So giving them the right tools, but then yes, not go saying, hey, you have to spend $12 a yard, $13 a
Mhm.
yard. That's
Right.
tough.
That
So
is.
we're not snobby at all about it. I know there's tons of fabric. There's sale racks in every shop across every
Sure.
quilt shop across the planet. There, well, at least there should be. If
Mhm.
not, take a note, shop owners. You need a sale rack.
That's right.
But yeah, use what you have. I mean, you know, you have friends that have scraps. You have there's donations galore. Yeah, that's really good. Use what you have. I mean, look, I get you want new stuff. That's cool. But
Right, right. Unless that's part of the growth too, as Joanne said, it's part of the journey. So
yeah,
as you're learning more, you're going to want to. So, like even notions, a lot of people want to go out and buy all the newest rulers and things. Step back and just learn really effectively how to use what tools you have, and then grow into something fun and get something that you want to play with more. So there's so
yeah,
much
and I
basics.
think we're kind of gearing it, well, at least in my mind, towards the newer sewer, the younger generation for this. There's nothing wrong with people who can afford to go out and get all the fun, funky tools. I mean, look,
Mhm.
the right tool makes the job easier,
Totally. Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you have to have every single one of them, especially not when you're starting off.
Right.
So yeah, I like that. I get that totally. So use what you have.
Hmm.
That's good.
Hmm.
Are you opposed to, secondhand stuff? I mean, obviously not, because we talk about pre-loves, but I'm just curious. I mean,
No.
you wouldn't deter someone for using secondhand
No, not
anything?
unless it's broken or worn out, there's no
Well,
reason why not. Well, sometimes when you
working
use
secondhand. Yeah.
yes, sometimes you use
Sorry.
rulers, the numbers will rub off. Those are no good, so let them go.
Makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also to backtrack just a little bit, when we're talking about rulers and things, and going back to kind of what, actually, I'm totally backtracking, but just about, uh, again, all this is about getting younger generations inspired and create. I think showing that there are different types of quilting or different types of sewing and different ways to use tools and rulers
Mhm.
is also a big part of it. Like maybe they bought this ruler because they took one class and this is what they suggested. Well, somebody like you can show them all the different ways they can use that ruler.
Correct.
So that's where education comes in.
Right.
Really utilize what you have.
Right.
And then eventually, yeah, sure, you'll add to your collection and it'll grow, but
Right.
um, make the best use of it. And honestly, they're not going to know how to do that unless someone like you or another educator guides them in that and gives them that
And
okay.
that's one of those things I was also thinking, I'm hitting that the more average age group for a quilter, and it's my responsibility to start sharing that with the younger generation. As we grow older, we should be bringing in new people too. So like anybody I with like my social groups that I have that have young women in it, or even young gentlemen, I can invest in them and teach them one-on-one or something to get them drawn back into the hobby.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say, and then we're going to go to question number 3, is I also think, and you said it a little bit, but I think we need to find um, younger teachers and
And
start
yes,
grooming them.
yes,
Nothing against the people that have been doing this for years. We need that knowledge, and
right.
you're fantastic. We love you. We couldn't do this without you. But we eventually you're going to retire. You're going to go, I'm tired of teaching. And so we need to start grooming these young sewers to start taking the lead. And
Hmm.
that's what you're doing. I mean, let's be
Right.
real. Like I consider you to be in this industry. It's an old industry. It's been
It
around for a
is.
long time. So you're young in this industry, and so we need to find those people. You can see they get excited. It's like grab them, hire them, do whatever we got to do. Yeah,
Mhm.
wheel them or reel them in. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So all right, cool. All right, where do you see the sewing industry in 10 years?
I see it in expanding. I mean, it's just going to keep growing and keep growing and keep. I mean, COVID was a pivotal point, and it wasn't that it was
Mm.
dying before that, but they exploded after everyone learned how to make masks. I mean, to find a small or an inexpensive sewing machine was near to impossible. That was 12 months when COVID was first announced.
True.
So that was an explosion, and it's going. I just feel strongly that it's going to keep rocketing. I've already seen like in our in the market trends, like for quilting world, we have the quilt market in Houston in October, and we always had one in the spring. Well, that's kind of gone away, but now we have H&H America, and that's been huge. I've been watching all this stuff on that for the last couple of weeks. That's going to be the huge trend for our industry to see new fabric, new and yarns. They're combining all sorts of medium in that. And then you got QuiltCon, which is the perfect venue for new quilters or new sewers to come in and really explore art and shapes and color and texture. So
Yeah,
the
I am
industry is just
very
pushed in that way. I love it.
I'm envious of people. We were obviously doing our own show, which was fantastic, but then, seeing the pictures and just the response about from and about surrounding QuiltCon, I was like, hold on. So there are people that are pushing the envelope, and I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it
And
is.
you're right. The H&H did it just happen, or it's happening
Yeah,
now, or
no, it happened last weekend.
last week? Yeah. Yeah, my feed is just filled with it. I'm like, oh man, I think this in this, and I even said it. When I ask this question, I have no doubt in my mind. It's just more to see if everyone else is agreeing with me. Like, I think we're just getting started, and I think it's coming in waves. And I'm sure that I don't know. I haven't been in the industry long enough to see too many, ups and downs. But
Right.
I feel right now that we're on a
We're up there.
straight incline. Yeah, it's what it feels like to me.
I agree.
Um, so, not to beat a dead horse, because obviously you think it's expanding, but what do you think about the tech? Like all these machines are getting more techy and more advanced. More light boards. It's just more technology. Do you feel like that's a good thing for the industry, or do you think it's kind of scaring a few folks, or maybe
Uh,
both?
no, I don't think it's moving fast enough. I
Oh,
think
cool.
if you want to bring in the younger generation, you got to be up. We need to have where we're using our phone to sit and hit the start button on a machine. We're not there yet, but we need that kind of, because that's what the younger generation wants. They want everything easy to use off their phone. So our machines aren't up there yet.
There's got to be
It,
an app for it.
it's right. I mean, there's some machines that do have apps, but
True.
that you got to keep the technology moving. One of the things a couple of years ago, I had talked to a fabric rep from Q2 Fabrics, and he was starting to show us digital printed fabric, and he had
Oh yeah.
predicted 5 to 10 years from that point, because it's been about 5 years now. All our fabric would be digitally printed, and we are almost there. And the only thing you can't digitally print is obviously batiks and hand dyes. So again, that shows that progression of technology influencing our medium in the sewing world.
That's right. I had a little teeny tidbit of that conversation with him as well, and it kind of dawned on me like, oh, that would be actually great, because maybe the amount for as far as digital printing fabrics go, because it's easier to reproduce, and hopefully maybe the cost can eventually go down. Oh man, this could be good for the industry. So
He
that's
was
cool to hear
talking
him
about
say
every
that.
store could have a catalog and their machine, and they go to the machine and print out your fabric right there. I was
Well,
like,
they did just come out with the first fabric printer for, I guess, for the public.
oh,
I mean,
that's
they
really
just released one.
nice.
And
So
I
yeah,
think,
technology is moving us, isn't it? It's moving us
yeah,
fast.
yeah. I don't know much about it. It was that brother one that came out, but and, hey, look, it's a step in the right direction. I
Mhm.
can't say if that thing is awesome or not, but I think the concept and the idea is awesome.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we're going in the right direction, and I'm
Mhm.
glad to hear you agree with me. Well, I knew you would anyway, but I wanted them to hear you say it. Okay, speed round, lightning round, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this or not. I'm having fun with it, but
Okay.
we'll keep going until somebody goes, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
And then I'll go, fair enough. Show's over. No. All right. Speed round. What's your favorite color?
Purple.
Duh.
Do
Because it's the best. Hello.
you want to know why?
Favorite? Oh, sure.
Donny Osmond's purple socks.
Really?
When I was 10 years old, Donny Osmond had purple socks, and that's what made me want purple.
Fair enough. Purple's my favorite color for completely opposite reasons.
I know.
Okay, that's awesome. Favorite brand of machine?
Ooh, Genomi's.
Yeah, it's all
Janome.
right. This is a
Mhm.
safe space. It's okay. Janome, fantastic.
Mhm.
Favorite band or type of music, if you don't have a favorite band specifically?
I have lots of favorite bands. Duran
Desert
Duran, Bon
Island?
Jovi, and Backstreet Boys.
Okay. If since you said three, I'm going to give you the first one, Duran Duran, and then Backstreet Boys would be number two for me.
Sorry.
That's good.
Okay.
No, no knocking boy bands. Hey, Backstreet was a big part of me growing up. Okay, fantastic. Desert Island movie, and now I have to say this. You understand what that means, right?
Yes, I do.
Hey,
I
cool.
was playing along. Grease.
Good, good. Grease.
I love musicals.
Oh, fair enough. I like going to a musical. I don't love I like some movie musicals, not as many. I would prefer to go to the play. Like
I
to
no,
go
I
see
do
it.
agree. I
But
love it live, but
what's your second favorite musical movie?
um,
You have, or is it
probably
not?
Mamma Mia because I can sing to it. So
Mamma Mia. Didn't they make like three of those?
two of them for sure. I don't know if there's a
Yeah.
third, but just two.
Okay. And then the last thing is other than at Cut Up and Sew, how can people find you? Is there anything that you're doing in the future? I know you got a few things in the works, but is there anything that you want to put out there so people can reach out to you for whatever it is you're doing?
Not at this point. I am trying to pull in a membership group together so you can learn how to do work through your stash. But I'm not. It's not there yet. It's getting there, but not there yet. So it'll be out there
Okay.
soon.
Well, fantastic. Now, and I got to toot your own. I got to toot your own. I've got to toot your horn, so you
Okay.
don't have to toot. So you don't have to toot your own. um, Toni came on. Well, I met her. I don't know. Feels like a few years ago now, but you came on board, and immediately I could tell that your experience with, well, not only like just teaching, but like hiring teachers, organizing retreats and classes. I mean, that really felt like it was your wheelhouse. And you've done a lot of virtual classes and things like that. So, do you enjoy doing the virtual classes as much as you do? I know you enjoy in person,
I
but
do.
do you enjoy teaching online?
I enjoy it because I know how to do it well. It took me,
Yeah.
again, I did that all during COVID, so I had to learn how to communicate differently. But once I learn aspect, I do enjoy it. So,
Cool.
especially since I
And
do
it,
have lots of friends. They're not local.
well, no, I know, and we've met them because of that, which is awesome. I mean, and you're right though, and there is something about like there is such a thing as not doing a virtual anything or class well.
Right.
There's some skill to it, and you definitely have to learn that. And it's obvious you enjoy it. So, um, we have plans to do things, but I always encourage anybody to get involved with as many things in the industry as humanly possible. And I just say it, and I don't mind doing it or saying it with you. Like here at Cut Up and Sew, we're just getting started.
Right.
So you know people in the industry, and I've met people in the industry via you, and then I've introduced. So when you surround yourself with people who have the same like kind of goals and motivation, it's amazing how much you can get accomplished.
Right.
I mean, truthfully. So
Because we're all
for
here to
those
lift
people,
each other up. You got to be around the people that are going to be lifting you up. Not
absolutely,
holding you
and
back.
you right, and you can tell we want this industry to grow and change for the better. So if you're surrounding yourself with someone who doesn't have that opinion and they're a little kind of grumpy or harumph about the situation, maybe find
Mhm.
find somebody else to be around and to spend your time with, truthfully, because it'll
Exactly.
yeah, it's no good.
Mm,
But
I agree.
okay, awesome. Well, look at this. Under 30 minutes with 5 minutes. That felt like it went really, really fast.
Okay. Well, it's because,
Like,
well, we kind of prepared a little.
well, that I know, and it's tough. It is tough when I mean we see each other almost every day, so
Right.
it makes it more difficult. But I do genuinely appreciate you um, taking some time out of your evening and doing this with me. It was fun, and as always, I can't wait to see what we do next.
Me neither. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. And Toni always gets on me. I don't have a sign off for this thing, so I'm still working on it. What was it? Live to create, right? There you go, LaDonna.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Live to
Those that
create.
know. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Toni. We'll see you tomorrow. Or no, not tomorrow. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye,
All right.
John.
Bye.